post this on the school website so that people that couldn't make it tonight could access it. So if that's a concern of yours, then I just want you to know that that's happening. All right, I'm still admitting some people. And while we're admitting some people, here are my little reminders. Oh, go ahead and close tabs. This is a reminder to me as well. In this online environment, it is very easy to get distracted by open tabs, especially email or any nefarious tab that tells you how many things you haven't done. So now's a great time to do that. I've started recording the session. Oh, and I'm going to try something new today that I haven't had an opportunity to try. We'll see if it works. And that is to use the built-in Ask a Question feature. So if you look in your upper right-hand side, you should see a little activities button. It looks like a triangle, what are those shapes? A square and a circle. This is why I don't teach elementary school. Click on that, and you'll see a couple of options. There's a Q&A there. So if you have questions during the presentation, I won't answer them during the presentation. We'll just make it through. And then at the end, however, I'll stop and I'll stay to answer questions. So go ahead and put a question in there. You can upvote a question if you see a question that someone else has asked that you like. And then the other thing, while you're there, I'd like you to answer some questions on a poll so we can get a sense of who you are. So I'll have you take the polls. And that is, let's see, one second. The first thing I'd like to know, so click on again on that activities, the shapes button, and then polls. And if you would answer, what school is your child in currently? I am really curious about who you are and where you are with respect to our school. And thumbs up if you can see other people's responses. I think I've set that so that that's possible. So you'll get a sense of who else is in here too. And I'm still admitting people. If you are just dropping in, go ahead and click that activities button in the upper right, and then click polls, and we're having people respond to a poll. I see some people putting answers in the chat. That's also fine. One thing we have learned during remote learning is you've always got to have about 5 different ways to solve a problem. So I appreciate your resourcefulness. All right, I'm going to end the poll. That gives me a good sense about what the proportions are. Don't worry if you don't have question and answer. This is just for fun. It's nothing mandatory. And then here's another one that I am curious about, just because I want to make sure that I am conveying the content that you really came here to hear. And that is, how certain are you that your child is going to attend Orange Grove next year? One of the things we try to do at Orange Grove is to seek feedback and to continually improve, to get better and better incrementally, a little bit over time. So this information is going to help me change this presentation for the next year around. Okay. Still admitting. All right. And still see a couple of votes going in. And good, I see some responses in the chat. Thank you. No judgment. All right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll again. It's just for fun. Your answers are not being recorded, or I won't pay attention to them later. All right. And then let's move onward. So again, the structure of this presentation, for those of you that are just joining, I'm going to talk at you for a while. I'm going to actually let you hear the voices of some of our kids and our teachers. And then we'll have a presentation from Dana Anderson, who's here to represent our Orange Grove FFO, or a brief talk. And then we'll open it up to your questions so that we make sure that we get all the questions answered that you came here with. So first of all, let me share with you our mission statement. So we have a mission. That is that we, what is most important to us is creating curious, compassionate, and capable problem solvers. And we consider that to extend to every person in the Orange Grove community. So that extends to students, to parents, and to teachers and staff. This is what we are trying to bend our efforts toward every day. And what are we really proud of? And what can your child expect when they come to Orange Grove? The first thing is that we have a rigorous academic program. We have been awarded an A rating from the Arizona Department of Education for as long as ratings have been given. That has just been a solid aspect. And that is based on our scores with respect to achievement, but also with respect to growth. And to me, that growth rating is actually really, really critical, because that shows how your kids are doing compared to similar ability peers across the state. We offer 7 levels of math, including Algebra 1 and Honors Geometry on site. Those are both courses that are available for high school credit. Our students also who are enrolled in Orange Grove take Honors Algebra 2 and Honors Pre-Calculus at the high school. In years past, they have gotten on a bus and gone at the end of the day. This year, they can attend remotely. And our students also receive gifted services through our ELA program in separate cluster classes. And if that's something you're curious about, I recommend you stick around toward the end of the session. And we have also some information on our website that could be really useful to you. We also service gifted students through our World Languages program. Students are placed by their current level of ability in that program as well. So kids can advance. We have, I'll get to it, but we have quite a few levels there. One thing we are really proud of in our district, that we are part of a system, and we do not care only about academic skills, that we really deeply care about them, but we also care about what our district calls deep learning proficiencies. And these are the skills that we believe that all of your students need, and in fact, the skills that we as adults really need to thrive in the world and to lead. And we also have a comprehensive academic program with emphasis on that word comprehensive, meaning full spectrum. So our students learn world languages every day. We have 7 levels of Spanish and 2 languages. Our Chinese program has 3 levels currently for students that have been in the immersion program at Sunrise Drive or in a similar immersion program, or who are heritage speakers. Something else we are really proud of is that our students have physical education and health every single day. So for us, this is a core class. It happens, it's a full period long every day, just like math, just like English, just like science, just like social studies. We really want our kids to be moving. We want them to be healthy so that they can learn and thrive. And another aspect that we're really proud about in our district is the support of the arts. So every single one of our students participates in arts classes every day. And that with every single one of our students, with some exceptions. But everyone, it's available to everyone. So we have 4 different arts electives, and your student will be able to choose. It's a year-long commitment. Students can choose at the end of the year when they're moving into the next year to choose a different elective. And this will be students we hope are going to be choosing in the next several weeks. If your student comes to the Welcome to the Pride Land next week, that's really a student-oriented presentation, they will see a video from each one of these electives so that they really get a sense of what kind of experience they'll be having and the really amazing things that they'll be doing in each one of these. So orchestra, band, choir, and studio art are our 4 arts electives. And we care that students develop as whole human beings, physically, artistically, and academically. This is a quick link to request your student's elective online. This is already live. However, I recommend that you hold off until your student has had a chance to review the videos that our teams have made about these electives, so that they'll really have a really good idea and informed choice about the commitment they're making for the year for that elective. But here it is, and we will also put this on our website. We will also put this out in the newsletters to the elementary schools. And usually at the end of every year, I ask 8th grade parents, what do you wish you knew as an incoming parent of a 6th grader? And the message that I get over and over again is, I wish I knew how much support was available for my child. So here's my attempt to at least put this out there for you so that you have an idea coming in. First of all, we have 2 amazing school counselors, Ms. Richards and Ms. Altman. They're both full-time counselors. They go into classrooms. They teach all of our kids lessons about social emotional learning. They also have various groups that they run for kids about specific topics like friendship, grief. We currently have a group starting up for kids who are LGBTQ plus or who are wanting to be allies or just curious about that topic. And there are all sorts of other groups that they run as well. We have our Panther Pals, and these are 8th grade mentors. So every 6th grader, when they come onto our campus, they have an 8th grade student who is their Panther Pal, their mentor. And that Panther Pal can help them get around, can answer questions, can give them advice if that student gets stuck, and really just be an upper grade person who's looking out for your child. And our Panther Pals, you'll see them in the first few days of school. They wear these bright orange shirts. They're there to help all of our 6th graders, not just the ones that are actually in their care. And our Panther Pals also run our new student orientation, which happens right before school as well. So kids meet in groups with their Panther Pals and their first period teacher. They do some activities, start to get to know each other so that before they even step foot in class number 1 on campus, they are already brought into our community and know some familiar faces and meet some new students. Our Panther Den, that's been closed this year, unfortunately, but we hope that in the future that we will be able to open this up again. This is a room that's staffed by an adult, and there are computers in there so kids can get academic help during lunch. They can go in there. There's usually just a very warm, welcoming group of students in there. We highly recommend that for new students to our school, especially if they're coming from outside of our system or coming in at 7th and 8th grade. Our Student Success Program, this is a really intensive program that meets Wednesday mornings during late start when all of your kids will likely want to sleep. But it's a targeted, intense program run by a very experienced veteran teacher, Carol Shadler, and she helps students who are 6th graders that really, really need intensive support in developing organizational systems and the habits of a scholar and in an academic setting. We have peer tutors as well. They're available on Wednesdays, but they also meet kids outside of class throughout the week. These are 7th and 8th graders that are trained by Ms. Altman, and they can help kids in any subject area. We often find that peer tutoring is very powerful because sometimes it's easier for a child to ask questions of and get explanations from a peer, a slightly older peer, rather than an adult. And often the peers have been in the same classes, so they may know the assignments, they may know the teachers. They're definitely always able to offer help, and they are incredibly skilled. Advisor-based, this is a program that is now in its 2nd year. We had it years and years ago in Orange Grove. It went away for a while. We brought it back. We currently meet every Wednesday for a full period. The advisor bases stay together, so they will. Your child will be in the same advisor base with the same teacher for 3 years in a row. And the goal there is really to build a solid support and sense of belonging for your child at Orange Grove. That's one of our goals. We want kids to build a sense of belonging with themselves. So also to develop some social emotional learning, how to manage and regulate emotions. There are things like mindfulness practices and things like that that we do in advisor base. Sense of belonging to others, so the kids in their advisor base and to Orange Grove more broadly. And then ultimately a sense of belonging in the world, really helping our kids. And we're hoping by 8th grade, in probably 2 years, to really be helping our kids begin to think about, hey, how can I use my passions and my skills to contribute in the way that I want to make the world look more like the way I want it to look. On Wednesdays, during normal pandemic years, we have academic assistance from 8:55 to 9:25. This year, we actually have a longer time set aside for office hours that are scheduled remotely by kids. But during most years, it's that roughly half hour period every Wednesday when kids can go into any teacher's class on campus. Teachers are there with their doors open, ready to help. And then we also have our ZAP program, our Zeros Are Preventable program, because we want to inform kids and parents when they're missing assignments, and then provide a space where we invite kids in on Wednesday mornings if they're behind significantly, so that they can have some time and support to sit down and actually do the work. Because we want to make sure that kids are doing the work they need to do to learn. And for us, we try to make sure that the consequence for not doing your homework is doing your homework, because it's the learning that's the most important. So those are some of the supports we have for your kids at Orange Grove. We teach and expect respect, responsibility, and compassion through our system of positive behavioral interventions and supports. So you'll see here's an example of what we expect in the library. We have this mapped out for every context area on our campus. All of our teachers teach it to every single one of our kids. Kids are walked through at the beginning of the year. What are the things we expect out on the field? What are the things we expect when they're eating out of the courtyard? What do we expect in the classroom? And then we try to reinforce that largely through positive reinforcement. We try to catch kids doing the things that we expect and recognizing them for that. And that's usually with just a sincere conversation, a piece of feedback between an adult and a child. And then we have a team that monitors kind of infractions across Orange Grove. We target if there's something that seems to be bubbling up, and then we develop a solution for it. And that could be a school-wide solution. It could be a solution that just targets a certain group of kids. But it's really allowed us to maintain an atmosphere of respect, responsibility, and compassion throughout, and help kids know exactly what we mean when we say those words, which can mean different things to different people. Oh, Panther Pals, there's a picture of, actually this is a couple of years ago, one of our first groups of Panther Pals. We missed them. And there's a picture of an advisor-based activity. Obviously, this is pre-pandemic. This would not meet our current practices. All right, so now you can stop listening to me for a while, which is a relief. And I would like to play for you. Oh, where did it go? Hang on one second. There we go. The slide got a little bit out of order, so I'll have to jump back. But let me play this for you.
Sixth grade was really fun. It's really fun. Like I didn't know where every place was, but now I do because I have friends that help me, including my brother. Because of the efforts, I think it's really fun. That we're capable of doing these after school classes as well. It's a good environment for like women.
Well, Orange Grove, you can really tell that the like staff and the faculty care about the students a lot. Like everything is like designed just for them. And, you know, you can really tell they care.
I really enjoy Orange Grove because of all the teachers. They're all very kind, and most of the teachers are also really funny.
Let's try again. 5 and count. Ready and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's not just Ariana count. Ladies, help me out here, please.
Mr. Michalak doesn't like to yell, so he prefers to ring his phone. Oh, yeah, see what I did there? Yeah.
And I was like 2 jokes sometimes. Yeah, and we just want their freedom themselves. The freedom here really needs to be responsible.
What I like about Orange Grove is I love my teachers and my friends.
The principal and all the vice principals, they'll just walk down It'll just make you smile. And all you have to do is just talk about keep your head held high and just walk through the halls and you'll be all right. I like how everyone in campus and not just the teachers, even the staff that's walking around. If you think there's going to be any bullying at the school, there's not. There's no bullying at all. Honestly, I've come across no one who has even given me a weird look. The most nerve-wracking part is just walking through a huge crowd of kids who are older than you, but other than that, it's fine. My favorite thing about Armstrong is how nice the people are and how interactive the class is. Even got some really fun stuff. And I also like all the clearance and stuff. It was awesome. The material of the class is really. There's a lot of like there's a lot of community school options. There's a lot of the electives are really fun because you can kind of choose what more suits you instead of having to do one of each. I'm able to learn a whole bunch of different things, also experiencing them in different ways that I'm creative and let me be myself. I like doing things for my kids and me.
The teachers try to push push us to do better, and they help us set goals, which we didn't really have in elementary school. So the goal setting really helps to reach higher standards of improving yourself academically.
They're surprisingly Spanish. I didn't really like it in elementary school, but I love it. It's fun. I mean, I've used the textbook and don't the last time I used a textbook. You learn a lot of like hands-on and like you use like your classroom to try to like learn about them, but you do it in school. They're really good about teaching us Spanish. They're really they are. You can ask them and they'll help you. Yeah. Same goes for Chinese and well, we can play games. Sometimes we finish our work without the parents. 阿德里有水坝、开始 or 台风，有水坝还是台风？这里他们有水坝。Okay, my favorite class is either band or PE because the teachers are either really funny and have a really nice personality, or they're just really helpful and really nice.
One, ready.
Yeah, because the teachers are really nice and they're so helpful.
Almost like you're looking inside of a vase, right? You see like that oval shape.
Yeah.
So I would just give yourself some guidelines with a pencil. And then are you going to show these getting shrinking till you get to that line?
Yeah.
I don't have to go to PE. I just like getting out, being active.
3, 2, 1.
Wrist. Dab and unlike tennis.
In science, I really love the topic. Really interests me and the way that we learn it and the projects that we do and the websites that we go to are really fascinating and help me learn, but also in an interesting way.
a totes does a water course?
Let's use OK Flores. That is the North Star, and that's the North Star that never meets. So our goal is to try to get that in our screens. That's going to be your reference point. That'll be your reference point of you and your this kind of Heisman calculations.
Yes, we're using a website that allows you to see this all in different settings that you could use.
My favorite class would either be math and science because my teachers really teach in a way that I understand. And it can be a little hard, at least for me, but to do and then it'll be fine.
We've been talking about a lot of stuff. I just covered everything that's going to be on the quiz. So I want you guys to take some responsibility for your own education and ask me what questions you have about this. So we have mapping, tables, graphs, rate of change. I'm either going to call on people, or if anyone has questions right away or more examples. Oh, I see a hand. I see Emma. Yes, thank you very much, Emma. What do you have for me?
my request is probably honestly an orchestra.
Yeah.
Because they just play music.
That's great, isn't it?
It's just a good class. You really like, you might seem tough at first, but really curious about your learning.
So here are some things that you might think about as you look at your comments and then jot down. I would just type this directly on the document. What are you doing well and what are you working on? So in summary, these are some things that I noticed.
Yeah, so let's go back to that theme statement really quick, okay? So when you're talking, we need to maybe quantify it into the overall message that's being portrayed, and the details are going to go more in the evidence and explanation.
So your learning goal today is to continue annotating that text. And remember that annotations are your visible thinking on a page. You are showing everybody what you think is important.
So our goal is to do kind of a chat blast, to just get a bunch of ideas and to learn from one another of what we're actually figuring out and what we're learning from one another. Because we're going to start kind of getting into our poetry today and like for real and start writing it.
I really enjoy our teacher and the writing.
And then you learn more English and you just learn more about the literature and you can go to a book every quarter. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Previous interested in understanding for global perspective because I like primitive.
Jen, tell us how this war started.
The war started because North Korea was moving it south over the 30 miles over South Korea with and to try to combine them into one country instead of divided.
Thank you. Great. So that started the whole process, right? North Korea is the aggressor, comes across. Zach gave us the really good details, the 38th parallel. Okay.
I feel like the teachers here really try their best to push our potential. I've actually grown a lot as a student because of the teachers.
Advice I would give is to push yourself to be your very best, but don't push yourself too hard and still be you.
Make sure to plan accordingly. Because I was a little, I wasn't planned well at first, and I fell short on my things in my first day here. So make sure to get all of your stuff together. Use a planner would help.
So advice that I would probably give is just probably studying really hard and be ready for sixth grade. It's gonna be challenging. A lot of my homework is from elementary school.
Get all your assignments done on time. Keep track of your stuff, because maybe you just decide not to do something one day and then all your work's gonna start piling up and it's just not needed done. So get things done when you have a chance, whether it be before school or after school. Just make sure you learn that.
Just don't be nervous. Middle school is ooh, you're going to middle school. But honestly, it's not that bad. I mean, they're kids older than you, but honestly, they're just there. You don't have to worry about them. All
you have to do is just know where you're going, and then you'll be fine.
They're not bullies. If you think they're bullies, they're not. They're really nice. They can help you around.
Super hard to know where to go, because on my first day, I took 7 periods twice, and I forgot about 6th period.
I tell them to look at them so they don't get lost. Triple for third period.
I think I would tell someone who's coming to country to, you know, kind of branch out and meet new people, because everyone has their eyes.
A piece of advice for newcomers is listen to your teachers. Really important. That's going to get you very far.
All right. Oh, I see a couple people want to come in. All right. Thumbs up if you're still with me. That was a longer stretch of video, but all right, great. I think it's fantastic to be able to hear from our kids. And thanks to Julie Farberick, who put that together. She was a genius of the video camera. So we also know that usually at these meetings, parents want somewhat of a preview practically about what things will look like, because middle school is very different than elementary school. So here's what a week looks like. And again, this is a normal full-time in-person week. We are hoping that at some point we will return to that schedule. So our library is open at 7 o'clock. That's when our campus opens up. Kids can come on campus. And then every day, school is from 7:30 to 2:30. With the exception of Wednesday, we have a Wednesday late start. So elementary schools in our district have an early release 1 day a week. We've got a late start. During that time, our staff have collaborative meetings, and then kids arrive around 9 o'clock. Academic assistance is at 8:55, and that's when teachers are in their classrooms. Before school on Wednesdays and every day after school on the other days of the week, we have community schools classes and study hall. And I'll talk a little bit more about those. And then just to remind you that every day for a full period, we have PE and health and one of the arts classes for every student. Oops, wait, there we go. And another thing that we are really proud of is that we have a really strong family faculty organization and an incredibly supportive community. Your being here is a testament to that. So what I'd like to do is turn this over to Dana Anderson, who's going to say a couple of things about the FFO.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're so excited to have
wait, Dana,
so many...
I can't hear you.
You can't. It looks like...
Thumbs up if you can hear Dana and it's just me. Oh, okay, great. Then it's more important that you can hear her. Go ahead.
Well, welcome. We're so excited that there's so many of you that have joined us to see what Orange Grove is all about. I was going to share a couple of slides that just kind of continue embellishing on what this family faculty organization does for supporting the Orange Grove school staff and the students, but I don't really need to. Mr. Rubentools has done a fantastic job on everything that he has shown. The students say it for themselves. I mean, it's just really repetition. This slide right here that you're looking at are your 6 executive FFO members. We are so excited about supporting the school and Mr. Rubentools and the staff members. I basically just had some pictures of really great events that we've had that we continue to try and fundraise for the school. It's really simple. This pandemic has actually been a little bit of a blessing in disguise. I think it's been a little bit easier for people to say, hey, I can go pick up some quick food and take it home, and in turn it ends up giving the school back 30%. Or, you know, we can all do a little bit more multitasking, so we can, you know, be on a meeting and just listening in, and meeting of the minds is really the best way to describe what the organization does. The FFO is really just parents that come together, that share ideas, and want to see how they can help and see how they can make the school and the environment even better than it already is. The campus you've already seen is just a fantastic place. The kids really love going to school. That is even more proven so in these times. My students just absolutely can't get enough of going to school. They wish that they could be there 5 days a week. Hopefully next year that may be an actual possibility. That's about it for us. I mean, go to the website. I keep wanting to click on something and show you what I'm looking at, but go to the website, learn more about it. That's what I would say as my piece of advice. That was a great video montage that Mrs. Fairbrick and Mr. Rubentold put together, and really the slideshow just says it all. I mean, we love being at this school specifically. The district has great leadership. They have an impeccable communication. You're looking at like the best IT person you could possibly have as a principal of the school that knows the ins and outs of the district and conveys it all so perfectly. So you guys, we're so happy to be at Orange Grove. Go to the website, look through, see where it takes you, and peruse around. There's so much more even that you can learn about the school before you get there, and really just be excited. Learning is so fun. It really is. That's what it is supposed to be about. And Mr. Rubentold and the teachers and staff and the parents that are sitting here right now involved in this meeting are the people that are going to make your students thrive. So that's about it from me.
All right. Thank you, Dana. And I will put because I think you were referring to this, I'll put the website for the FFO, the Orange Grove FFO, I put the link in the chat. But that's a great website to visit also.
Thank you.
All right. I talked a little bit about community schools. I highly, highly recommend that all kids get involved in some sort of extracurricular activity. Over half of our students participate in community schools programs. I know that there are other extracurriculars outside of Orange Grove, but we have a fantastic array here. One thing that my family found convenient, I have two sons who both went through Orange Grove, was that they could just stay here at school and walk right on to these activities until it was time to go home. But there's a whole set. We have the athletic side of things with all the sports. We have boys and girls sports in just about every area. Baseball and softball are split up. So boys do baseball, girls do softball, but really every other sport has either both girls and boys on the same team or a separate team for boys and girls. Kind of that middle column, not perfectly, but all sorts of creative pursuits, including building our yearbook every year, which gets published and which people will keep for, I'm sure, hundreds of years by the time our kids are there. And then on the far right, we have all sorts of scientific and kind of intellectual activities. So coding and artificial intelligence, Science Olympiad. Our Science Olympiad team has just been rocking in the last couple of years. They're new. They're run by Ms. Skinner, our awesome STEM integration specialist. And they're a great set of opportunities for kids. And a really great way to become integrated, to make new friends, to feel a part of the school. So some things for you to start thinking about. End of July, there's a sign up for sports activities and community schools. We hear every year that the fall sports fill up within minutes of this website going live. So it's worth, toward the end of July, starting to check the community schools website about when they will open registration for fall sports. And they add more teams if they get an overwhelming response, if they can find coaches. But depending on how many people are overflowing, they may or may not be able to. And again, this is asterisk because I don't know, I don't know exactly what the beginning of next year will hold. I don't think anybody does. What we traditionally do is in that first week before school, we have what's called our pick up and unpack. So families come to campus, they get their schedules, families walk the campus with their student to become familiar with where they will be going. Kids get lockers, we take ID pictures, families pick up EduKits, which you can purchase through the FFO. Which is a set of supplies. And again, we didn't have that this year because of the pandemic. And I don't know if we will next year. I'm hoping that we might, but it's a possibility. And then Friday, August 6th, we have new student and parent orientation. And this is what's led by our Panther Pals. They lead our students through. We have some of our staff, our counselors, and our STEM integration specialists lead an orientation for new parents. And this is for all new students, no matter what grade they are. And that's another way of beginning to integrate kids into the Orange Grove community before they actually begin the academic learning. So those are some things to kind of pencil in on your calendar. The deadline to apply for open enrollment is Sunday, January 31st. So that's a critical deadline. I know that in this time, some of these deadlines can escape our notice because they're not as urgent as many of the other things that are happening in our lives, but that's one that is worth paying attention to if you're an open enrollment family like mine is. And then when will open enrollment families be notified? At the end of February is usually the target for that. And then once they're notified, they can then register. In district resident families, registration will open in the next couple of weeks. An event that's coming up, I've mentioned this already, but next week at this same time for Manzanita students at 6 p.m. for Sunrise Drive students, either one of those times for students from another school. We have our Welcome to the Pride Land virtual visit for prospective students. Usually we bring kids during a school day onto our campus and they get to go through some classes and go to an assembly. This year we're being resourceful and we're having a similar event like this, but it won't just be me talking at your students like I am doing to you. We'll have better pedagogy there. So what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit, we'll show them probably the same video and another video about their electives. Then they're going to split into breakout rooms with a teacher, a 6th grade teacher, and a Panther Pal, and they'll go through a really short advisor-based session. So they'll get an advisor-based class, Orange Grove style, and they'll meet some other kids that are thinking about coming to Orange Grove and meet some kids who are already here. And that's a great time for your child to bring their questions because they'll be able to ask a student and ask a teacher. And no question is too small, no question is too big. All right, so now I am curious to try this strategy. If it's available to you, it may not be on the mobile, and if not, just put it in the chat. But if you go ahead and click on that activities button again, and then click on Q&A, and then click on ask a question. That activities button again is the triangle, square, circle. See, I'm getting better at my shapes. And then click Q&A. And you should now be able to ask a question just by clicking plus. And then as you see other questions, you can upvote them. And I'll probably, as these start popping up, I'll just start answering them. We'll see if there's an advantage to this strategy or not. Olivia's family is asking, what's your in-person schedule like this year? This year, it's different than the elementary schools. It's close to Manzanita. We have, one group of our kids are just 100% remote. And then on Monday and Tuesday, we have cohort A kids who are coming in person. They come to school and they have 2 full school days. Then on Thursday and Friday, we have our cohort B kids come and they come to school 2 full days. Our Wednesday is an asynchronous day with one exception, that is our advisor-based class. And that one, everyone attends remotely, which we like because then it puts all kids on an even footing. And one of the goals of that class is to build a sense of belonging. And we think that's better done if all kids have equal access. All right, how long is each period? Each period is 50 minutes. Actually it's 50 minutes this year. Even Wednesdays is asynchronous, so we don't really have periods. Is Chris still in the front office? Yes, she is, and we are very happy for that. This is her 18th year at Orange Grove. She is just an outstanding person to be, really the person that people meet when they come into Orange Grove. Is there cross country? Yes, there has been cross country. There was not this year, but that has been an ongoing community schools. Usually Mr. Souza runs it with some of the other coaches and staff. If you enroll in sports classes, will there be tryouts? Yes, but all kids who enroll in time will play. So there are, on basketball, for example, on sports where there are multiple teams, they have tryouts and they sort students. So really there's placements rather than tryouts, because so everyone that signs up will play and gets space. Quickly over 6th grade electives from Amanda. So 6th grade electives, there are 4 of them. Studio arts, so painting, drawing, sculpture, ceramics, all of that. It's a kind of a mixed bag of things. Studio arts, choir or chorus, just singing, predominantly singing in a group with other people, but also there are opportunities for solo singing. Orchestra, so that's our strings program, and then band, which is our percussion, woodwinds, brass. And for orchestra and band, usually kids go in with some experience ahead of time. There is a beginning band class, but we can connect you with those teachers if you have questions about that. And yes, we recommend choosing one by February 15th, just so we can start making our schedules. We cannot always give students their first choice, but having your choice in before that time makes it much, much more likely that you will be in line for the option if we run out of room in one of the electives. Do community school science JavaScript classes fill up fast like you said the sports do? Oh, I don't know. I have not heard that from anyone that's taken those classes. Are there field trips? There are field trips. We don't have my kids went to Manzanita, so I'm familiar with the Manzanita suite of field trips. We don't have those same sort of stable school-wide field trips like that amazing Payson trip. Though I encourage field trips, we did not have one last year that I can think of, but kids have in the past gone to see plays. They've gone to see different museums depending on the class. And then Rose's family is asking if kids can choose 2 electives like choir and art, not in the same year. However, students can switch. So a student could take choir the 6th grade year and then take art 7th grade year, and then choose between them their 8th grade year. So if you choose an elective, you're not locked in forever. You are committing for 1 year though. All right, I'm gonna just check really quickly the chat to see if there are questions in there. When is the testing for ELA? So you are talking about the COGAT test that's for the gifted program, I believe. And that happens, I could look it up really quickly. If you give me a second, I'll give you an actual date instead of just guessing. May, we don't have it scheduled for this year yet, but it's usually around May 15th, May 17th. And there is information about our gifted program on our website under the For Parents section. So there's a description of our gifted program, there are the criteria, there's the form to fill out if you do want your child to be tested with the COGAT. And kids can take the COGAT once every 2 years. When do students choose their elective class? Really, anytime. You are the first people to get the link to the elective choice. So anytime from now through February 15th, we have had people choose after that, and we try to honor those, but really between now and February 15th is the sweet spot. Jared Rubin asked, for kids who did Chinese immersion at Sunrise, does that continue for a half day at Orange Grove? Or is it just like an elective for an hour? It does not continue. We don't have an immersion program here. Our Chinese classes are targeted towards students that have been in immersion, so they are not beginning Chinese. They're for kids who have been in an immersion program or heritage learners, but they are just a single hour, and it is learning about Chinese language and culture. So it's not learning math in Chinese or the immersion experience. That really isn't something that our district has past 5th grade. When things return to normal, can open enrollment students get bus service? Is bus service available to Sunrise Drive? Amy asked this, and Amy, yes, we have for the last several years offered bus service to open enrollment students when there's room on particular buses. So kids have to apply. I did this, so my kids took the bus and then they walked a little bit farther. So I expect that when things are back to normal and we can have normal busing, that will happen again. And yes, bus service is available to Sunrise Drive. Is it possible to sign up for the elective before receiving open enrollment decision? Yes, you can actually. The elective form is just a form that we have built. It's a Google form. We just keep the information. And so you can sign up anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. You don't have to wait to be registered. You can just, you're putting in your choice for what's happening next year. All right, I'll toggle back to the questions. Oh, can kids choose 2 electives? All right. All right, I don't see any more questions right now. So here's what I'm curious about. What about this whole presentation was most useful to you? And what, if anything, could I remove? If there's something I could take away and you would still get what you really wanted or expected out of this presentation. And I'll put the link in for the elective choice. Pretty simple. It's bit.ly/OG elective. And yes, Kate, thank you for that suggestion. We are going to put this video up on our website. And just so you know, there's more information too about the Pride Land visit on our website currently. We have a calendar on our website where there are links to things like this town hall, links to the Pride Land if you lose it. And we will keep sending information out through your, because you're in a group as a 5th grade parent in the district. If you are not a 5th grade parent in the district and you want to receive our newsletter or any other information, because we'll start sending that out to 5th grade parents moving forward, just identify that in the chat and give me your email address and I'll find a way to get you included there. Great suggestion. Well, thank you all. I look forward to seeing your kids for sure in the future and possibly you as well. You're always welcome here at Orange Grove and we're really excited to begin the next year with you. And thank you, Dana, for coming. Yeah, Sophia, thank you. That is a great suggestion about the core classes. All right, and I think I see some future Orange Grove students there as well. If you have questions, you can ask them too. And thank you, Ms. Horn, for coming. All right, I'm going to stop recording.